Yo, what's good? It's Fire here, back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into another Madden 26 video. Today we're going to be going over the gun bunch tight end offensive formation, which is definitely one of the best formations in the game by far. You will see a lot of people running this day one if they are not running the traditional bunch. If you guys want to know how to run bunch strong offset or bunch, check out that video I posted yesterday. Shows all of that long video with a ton of setups, and here we got bunch tight end. Now, bunch tight end is going to be in a few different playbooks. It's going to be in Jacksonville, which is what I am running. It's going to be in Indianapolis, it's going to be in Tampa Bay, it is going to be in Minnesota, it is going to be in Washington, among a few others. I think Jacksonville is the best one though, and I think it's good just because it has a lot of other good formations like a trips to go with it. Colts obviously has the bunch offset, so it depends on what you like, but we have bunch X nasty in Jacksonville, as well as a few other good sets. If you guys are also new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below. About 70% of you guys that are watching my videos are not subscribed, so let's get that number to about 50%. If you're enjoying the free content, definitely hit that subscribe button and let me know what you guys want to see next. I'll be posting a defense probably tomorrow, and again, I will be mixing in Madden and college. But here we go, bunch tight end. What do we like? This motion divide play is new this year, and it is dangerous. One of the better plays with that stock fade. You can definitely use that to your advantage. Motion slot flood is another kind of decent play with that stock slot fade, although you can hot route that now. And then we have PA boot over, very dangerous play there. Cheat tight end halfback, or hitch halfback seam, very good play with the stock motion. Cheat H out, very good play. And then whips on the right there is a very good play as well. So I did play with bunch tight end a few online games, so I will be putting those clips in when I go over each play as well. But the audibles I like: motion divide, inside zone, whips, PA boot over. The reason you would go with Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, or Indianapolis is because they do have the motion divide play, which is what we're going to start out in. Now I'm going to start out with cover 3 because this is a pretty decent cover 3 beater. It doesn't beat it every time per se, but it does beat it a lot of the times. And we're going to be on the right hash, which means we're going to keep our bunch on the left-hand side, always on the wide side. And what do we have here stock? Now we have a nice little post. We have Diami Brown on that fade route, and then we have Travis Hunter on this weird little motion. Now if we just run this play stock, you'll see he goes on this motion, he kind of sits there for a while. And then he just basically runs a little drag. It's honestly not a bad motion. I did use it a few times in the game, and I didn't have any complaints about it. But there's a few different ways we can kind of make this play a little bit better. The first thing we're going to do is go with like a corner out type setup. So we can try and go with something like this. Now, the way you beat cover 3 this year is a little bit different. In years past, you would probably run something kind of like this with a streak or with a fit crosser, and you would try and open him up to the sideline. But take a look at the way the outside third actually plays this. He plays it pretty tight, so it's kind of open there, but it's really, he doesn't bite all that hard on the corner route. And even if we do like a normal corner route, or maybe we custom stem it down once, you would see that he doesn't really bite down the way he used to, and you would have actually wanted to throw it to the corner route. So a little bit different. Now, I have noticed better success when I actually throw Travis, our slot receiver, which is A, and sometimes these icons will change, something I noticed, so keep that in mind, you guys. But let's say we just run a setup like this. Let's go drag. Let's say we put Travis on the corner route, and if you guys don't know how to custom stem, it's L1, and then you hold the left stick down, and that's going to move it up or down, so we want all the way down. This is the way I kind of got the best success. And you want to kind of pass it in. Now, for whatever reason, our offensive line is pretty god-awful here in Jacksonville, so I continue to get hit. But let's try this again. And you want to kind of throw it there. I also have a clip of me scoring in one play with this setup, so you guys can kind of see the success that it has in game, and that is how you have to do it. So you actually don't pass it outside, you pass it inside. Brian Thomas is helpful to move. You see how he moves the safety over all the way to the right hash, which allows you to actually throw that. And even with getting hit, kind of a slower pass we're able to get it there in time and complete it. So that is how you do it. That's probably not the best setup with it. Now, I do enjoy using Brian Thomas's route, but again, we can kind of use this corner route to our advantage, and let's say we just want to hit the corner route. We definitely can do that right there over the top. Perfect. So again, make sure you do wait on it. If I threw that a second earlier, it would have been intercepted. And if I don't want the shorter one, I could like go with this depth of corner route, and it could definitely still work with Travis over there. Holy crap, dude. The pass rush in this game is crazy. So of course we could vice versa those routes. I could throw Travis on the post. I could put Brian Thomas on the corner route if I prefer that. But this is a look, and that was a bad pass lead, and there's still enough space to complete it. So let's switch it up. Let's go against just kind of I don't want to run cover 3 every play, so we're going to go up against a random defense here out of the over formation, just so that we face some different looks. So we could create a kind of a basic setup as well. Something that I will usually do is go with like a hitch here. Maybe we put Y on a flat, B on a corner route. And the way you do a hitch is you curl that slot receiver, and then you custom send him all the way down, because you can't actually do a choice or a hitch route anymore, but you can kind of have him sit there. Boom. Love those against zone coverage. They're not going to be useful against man, but I love them against zone coverage just because they sit there, and that might be a little bit too short. You could go with like this depth, which is just a little bit higher. So he's going to, again, just sit there. You can hit this post route across the field as well. It may be more open if we do use a drag route. So maybe we want to block our running back because we're dealing with some pressure. We just want to run a setup like this. Oh my God, my left tackle. Moment of silence for my left tackle. That guy needs to learn how to deliver McDonald's, because, my God, dude. But post over the top, money. Should be able to hit it in that kind of window that I did. If it's cover 3, here's like a man coverage look. If it's man coverage, you can of course kind of go with you can go with a few man beaters. You could put like B on a return, A on a zig, something like this, just to get more man coverage beaters. Obviously, we want to hit Brian Thomas if we do get enough time. Sometimes the stocked pressed fade route can get open against man as well. So if he's pressing, then you could hit him. But yeah, I mean, just kind of some basic setups that you would expect. If you want to, again, go with something like this or try and really space the field, you could go with A on a crosser, B on drag, Y on an angle, RB on the corner route. So you could go with this. If it's man coverage, this route can get open, but be careful, because if he's trailing like that, that would have been picked probably. If you get separation left to right, then you should be able to hit him fine. But this will be kind of the last setup we show. And again, I could go like Y on a flat here. If it's zone, if it's man, I could go angle route, or of course I could just block him. So he's a good kind of hot read. And then you have corner route, crosser, drag, just a lot of man beaters, so that would be a good option. But let's move into our next play here. And the next play that I'm going to talk about is going to be the motion slot flood. And this is kind of the play you're going to run any of your little, let's go with random. He's on almost a different route than the one. It doesn't really matter, but we'll run some setups to show all of them regardless. But we have another kind of stock motion, which is similar. So again, I don't mind these. And he runs a little weird like stop route, which is actually a pretty good route. He'll stop there for a while, and it works pretty well. So that is an option. But other than that, I'm sure you guys have seen setups like this a lot out of people like pro players running them. You could run it like this. You could run it with our X on the slot fade, and then RB on the corner route, or A on the corner route, and RB on the streak, and X on the slot fade. There's a few different ways to run it. I don't know what the best way is, but like here's man coverage, and Brian Thomas should get pretty wide open against this. It's a very good man beating route on that slot fade. And I think the stock one out of this play, the motion slot flood, is a little bit better than the one like this. They're pretty similar, but I do think it is slightly better. But this is a really good spacing concept. So you can like easily hit this route a lot of the time. If it's any kind of off coverage, you definitely use that. And then we'll show some other ways how to use Travis's route as well. As far as B, I like using like those return routes or just a post, but I kind of like the return because it's a shorter kind of hot check down. But here, again, it wouldn't be, maybe it doesn't get open against man. You would have your return as an option to at least throw it to. So we do have that. As far as spacing the field for Travis's route, you could do just some simple stuff like a little, let's say we put B on the return, maybe we flat Y, put X on the deep cross, and then we kind of snap it here. And this spacing should work well. Again, he's just going to sit out there and you can kind of hit him. It's almost like a hitch from the outside, so I actually love using that route. Again, you would put X on like a deep cross, B on a return. If you know it's man, you could go corner out. Maybe that's a little bit better. Flat over there. You could put X on a post if you really prefer. And then again, RB should have got open there. He did not. Crosser was open. We get a bad pass. RB just kind of got pressed a little bit weird. But again, some of the other ways like you will see people doing it is maybe they put him on the corner route, X on the slot fade, RB on the streak. Again, I like to throw B on like just a return here, but definitely some different ways to kind of get them open. You see RB is open, but they do have safety help. If it was cover 0, then usually it's just good spacing concept against zone as well. So let's say we put RB on the corner route now, X on the slot fade, A on the streak, B on the return. Then you usually can hit that slot fade. Hopefully he gets enough separation. Diami Brown, I think, is pretty quick, so that helps. But again, you don't have to use the streak either. I could go with like a drag, corner route, block him, and just kind of use this as like man beaters. And then boom, we can hit our drag underneath. So definitely some other ways, and I will probably leave some setups on the table because there is a lot of plays that I got to go over, but love that stock motion as an option. You also have this motion snag under, which isn't bad, to be honest. With that kind of return route, I'll show this just briefly. Let's try to run it against a man coverage look, if we have man coverage. So Diami Brown is kind of the guy we're looking at, but Brian Thomas is not on a bad route either. So if we want to set up like a quick man beater, we could go with something like this. Now Brian Thomas's route is a little bit inconsistent, I would say. So if you want, you could maybe go him on the crosser, A on the streak, B on just corner route, Y on a flat. And then Diami Brown is kind of the guy you're looking for. He kind of sits there and then he goes. So he's another good, maybe better route against zone because he kind of sits there and runs kind of a spot route, but you could create some setups like that. I'm not going to get hung up on it because I don't run it all that often, but yeah. And then as far as run plays, you have off tackle, you have inside zone, you have read option. Unfortunately, we don't have the RPO, which is just your one weakness. I'm not sure if any of those playbooks do have it. I don't believe so, but let's go to the cheat H out, which is this play on the left. And this play is very good for that stock zig route, mainly. The motion, not my favorite. Motion is a lot better out of the hitch halfback seam play, but overall I would say it's not bad. So X is on not a normal zig route. You can see the difference between that and this. It gets a lot more depth and you can use it. Brian Thomas, don't love his route, but I'll usually kind of like running something like this. Let's just get Brian Thomas out of there. If you want, you could just go corner route too. But if it's man coverage, look at the separation we got there. A ton of separation. We pick up a first down, even while getting hit as I pass the ball. So definitely good. He's on kind of a stock C route, but it's not good against man if you are facing man, but kind of a good quick snap play. You can run basically 2 hot routes, get out here and snap it. You don't have to do the motion, of course. Now, not sure what coverage that was, but I think I had X open. I might have just missed him. But I mean, you could Also, just go with like kind of a similar setup, like this little hitch, and then the zig route, and then they're kind of sit there with the spacing. I use those hitches a lot, specifically out of the formations like trips and bunch tight end, pretty heavily. So, and if you wanted to like block your running back, again, this is just a decent, solid, basic setup. And I love hitting him in this window because you see Kenny Moore sprints out to the left flat in a cloud flat zone, and we are just easily able to hit that zig route because it goes in further and it goes in a little bit taller. So you're able to use it to your advantage a little bit better. Does it ever make sense to go with like a custom stem corner out? I'll show you why or why not. The spacing honestly is not awful, so sometimes it could work, but run it at your own discretion because sometimes they will kind of bump each other and it could get just a little bit rocky. And then yeah, let's say maybe, I think that would be like about it for these types of setups. Not too much else I would do. Maybe you want to get like a deep corner route, drag angle route, and we could just clear out Y as well, something like this. And then we could hit the angle route, or maybe the corner route to drag, which is a nice late high-low read. So we usually are throwing Travis on that route. I'll show you what this route kind of looks like with the stock out route. Honestly, it's not terrible, but he just runs too deep for it to be like anything super useful, and it doesn't really work super well against man. So I don't prefer it, but I don't hate doing different routes with him over there. Maybe we like post Y, streak B, and I can even still motion him out normally to kind of get some better spacing. And then maybe we were able to hit him as a post, and then you still have this deeper zig on the left, so you could create a good setup that way. So a lot of bunch tight end I do is freestyling. It just depends on the defense that you're facing, but creating kind of good setups like that. And I will go over PA boot over. I know I kind of glossed over it, but we will go over that a little bit later, which we have whips, PA boot over, and then this cheat tight end halfback hitch, halfback seam. I can't speak. I'm gonna grab my water. Now, here we're going into the cheat hitch tight end halfback seam, or whatever it's called. It's a mouthful, but this play is very good stock. We love it. Now, one thing I will immediately always do on this play, if I'm going to keep the out route, is go with the speed out with X. And the difference doesn't look like much, but it's so much faster, hence the name speed out. And you can definitely use it to your advantage. Now, if you just run this play stock, it's a little bit kind of spacing weird, but first read is always going to be just this quick out every time. Man coverage, zone coverage, you're forcing him to play pretty far underneath there. And again, it's basically run it like this. And then we have this little streak, which can be very underrated actually. So I do try to use that. Now be careful, because I actually threw an interception trying to throw this because I didn't get used to the spacing quick enough. But it is usually pretty solid. And then obviously Travis, he can be dangerous against man. Getting that kind of running start, and that was pass interference, but you can almost see he had a step there, and he's really good against cover two. I got a touchdown on this play. I'm sure you guys saw it before we started talking. Sometimes it confuses the man if he does any weird adjustments pre-play. But again, I'm speed outing, and we'll show some other ways to set up. I'm just kind of running it stock for now. And then, like, you can almost hit it here. A lot better against like a cover two. Let's run some cover two just to show it. And this is maybe the one play where being on the shorter hash may help slightly. Because if we run it against cover two from this hash, you'll see that it's probably still going to be tight over there with the deep half. Now I don't have anything going down the middle, but the way you create more space is going to be, let's say we move not far to the left, but kind of in the middle area, and hopefully this tight end post is enough to kind of create space. And with ETN, you could flat him, you could block him, do a few different things over there, but that's kind of the goal, to hit him on that wheel route. But also, he does a good job as a crosser deke, or any just kind of a normal clear out deke. So if I wanted to run this play from the right hash again, I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but if I wanted to run it from here and we wanted Brian Thomas to maybe get some space, maybe we just run something like this. Then Travis should be good as a little stock kind of fade route or a clear out route. And then we should be able to hit Brian Thomas there. Now, got pressured, but I'm sure you guys could see the separation. So we can work good as kind of a stock fade route. Now, again, if I'm trying to open up ETN, I might go with like a post here. I could just go with a slant. And then usually over here on the left, we got two kind of good man beaters. I could custom send Brian Thomas down maybe 1 or 2, get him a little bit shorter, which could help. I do usually keep the motion for this setup though, but again, ETN's route, it's going to be pretty money against cover 2 or cover 3. But again, be careful. Sometimes the hook curls, if you throw it late, they can lurk you, kind of the way they did in my game. I don't think I showed the interception, or I shouldn't show the interception, but that was how I did throw my pick. And yeah, so this post, it's really not going to be too throwable of a route, but it should help move those zones inside and then up. And then again, if I want to, like what I could do is I could just, maybe I just want to leave BTJ on something like this. I don't hate this. Maybe I want to put X on a zig too. Just kind of make things simple. You could then throw them like underneath. I could also custom send the post down 1 more. So creating stuff like that is dangerous. Again, I could also go with like just basic setup, something like this. I could leave A on the hitch. Maybe I just flat RB. So just giving you guys a few different options there. Could check it down to him. I would have probably wanted to throw that a second earlier so he could catch it and run a little bit better, but some good setups there. All right, so we went over a lot. Let's go over the PA boot over now. Now, PA boot over, it's not as good as I think it once was, but it still can work. Now, this play action sucks pretty badly, so you do always want to cancel the play action. For some reason, there's like not a way to cancel this play action. I'm like holding the right trigger, and he's not doing it. Maybe there's maybe I don't know. If someone knows, let me know in the comments, but usually a good cover 3 beater would be smart out X, drag B, corner A, maybe you smart out A, get him a little bit deeper, streak Y. If it's man coverage, this setup would be pretty solid too. If you're trying to like open up this post route, then that is usually a decent setup. And that would work pretty well against cover 3. I don't know that we'll get cover 3, but overall it would be generally pretty solid. Frick. Now, I don't know why he has to get shedded every time. That's a little annoying. My right tackle can't block if there's play action. And we're facing freaking man coverage every time, so let's go with some man setups. But basic good man setup would be just zig B, corner, or crosser, corner A, or you could return A, or kind of do whatever. But love that route just by itself. If he's going with man, that is going to eat. You need a good tight end if you're running bunch tight end. Make sure you... hell, it's in the name of the formation, right? So take advantage. But if you want to try and open up the crosser, you could go with something like this maybe. Looking for Y, of course. Here we have a little clear out with A. And then you could kind of hit him short. Now, he played that pretty well. If you notice the crosser struggling to get open, something we could potentially do is motion over a streak. Now this is going to be man, it looks like, but motion over a streak, maybe we just throw X on a drag. A could go on like a post to the opposite side, so you could work it that way. The crosser is going to be good against man coverage as well, so this is usually like a heavy man beating play. You could almost just come out here, run it pretty stock. Holy... Dude, my offensive line is so bad. I'm not even on... I think I'm on All Pro. I don't even think I'm on All Madden. And we're freaking getting shedded every time. It's freaking wild. But normal basic setup, good quick snap is just drag A. Now, A was wide open, but don't know why my crosser's getting bagged so much. Normally the crossers are fine, but Jesus Christ, do we have to face man coverage every time? But again, I could like do something like this, just zig B, return A. Now we finally get some decent separation, and that is sailed. But yeah, decent. If I'm going for heavy man beating, maybe I do something like this. Maybe I post Y, drag B, corner A, quick corner X, and then I go with like kind of the custom stem corner route. Usually pretty solid against man or quarters or whatever you're facing. But yeah, if I'm trying to really bomb it, I like this setup. Because that post usually is pretty solid. As you see, it's pretty consistently beating man coverage. So I usually do like that. You could even like do something like this, crosser B. Maybe we slot fade wide to try and beat man even more. Maybe I just drag A or return A. Now Brian Thomas gets freaking pressed to death, but crosser beats man. Maybe it's a little bit better if you hover out the crosser rather than go with this stock one. Kind of seems that way. But just use your creativity, and I could like flat RB here as well. And then, oh, Travis wide open. Looks like that was match. So that would be a good match setup as well. But overall, some solid stuff to work with. Let's go into our next play, which is going to be our last one, the whips play. And this play is pretty simple. You run it stock kind of majority of the time. Mesh. Maybe I'll talk about mesh briefly, but mesh is pretty self-explanatory. There's not a whole lot I do with it, but it's kind of a good man setup, so maybe I'll talk about it briefly. Hopefully we get more man now, but this play is dangerous for A and B. Both are very solid. Look at the separation we got. It's like that one kind of stock zig route we had out of, I forget the name of the play, but this one is even better. So just again, a little bit deeper, and it just fries man coverage. If you just want a good kind of clear out setup, I recommend doing this, streak Y, custom stem X, and then now A is getting kind of bagged for some reason. Normally he's fine, and he should beat man coverage well. Hopefully we face zone, so you guys can at least see the spacing against zone for a few plays, but I don't have to custom stem X all the way down. Maybe I leave him up more. RB can be decent for spacing against zone, but against man, I would just block him. But corner route over there, threw that definitely a little bit late. But normally you're just trying to open up the zigs. I wanted to throw it to A. I mean, you guys saw that B was wide open. If it's like heavy man, I don't hate even doing something like this. And again, you could also like pretend he's using the hook curl on the right. Maybe he goes up to the crosser, and then it would leave the tight end wide open as someone that you can just hit. So that's kind of, although it's not getting wide open now, but, and that's, I don't know what defense that was, cover too hard flat maybe. That's probably your best bet to defend it if you guys don't know how to defend it, but I could also just post him. Maybe I want to return A instead, just kind of mix it up a bit. So, kind of a few different ways to do it. Again, I don't have the most setups. I'll usually just kind of run the same stuff, but I like to mix it in. I don't want to spam this play because I don't want to get him accustomed to it, but I do want to mix it in regularly, once every 4 plays or 5 plays, and just kind of work from there. Again, I could use this corner out. Maybe I custom stem it like twice. And I'm kind of just running it like this for the most part. There we get the tight end. That's the separation that you want, that I see a lot of the time. Just big time gain there, and that's what you could definitely do with this play. So, would it be smart to angle RB? What do you guys think? Probably not, because the spacing is just so awful. But if you are facing some kind of a weird cover 0 where you have 20 seconds to throw, then maybe it's not a bad option. You could like wheel him. Y's route is not bad against zone, but the spacing is a little bit bad because he just brings everybody to the middle. So his user is able to catch on, definitely take away one of those zigs, and then if one gets defended well by man, then you could be screwed. But overall, just decent setups there. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like, subscribe to the channel down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I'm probably going to work on a defense, but we have trips. We have a lot of good formations on offense, so normal Y-off close seems to be pretty popular. I'm going to probably work on a Washington ebook, but let me know what other teams you may want to see for the ebooks. And yeah, peace. I'm out of here.